There was a skillet propping open a shed door in western Illinois this past spring, rusted the color of an old brick, and the woman's boy had already pitched 3 just like it onto the scrap trailer out front. That one had a small Indian head cast into the bottom. It sold for a little over $1,100. $1,100 out of a doorstop with the scrap trailer idling in the driveway. My name is Otis Granger, 40 years picking barns and estate auctions across the Midwest, and cast iron is the one thing I never walk past. Today we are counting down 10 rusty cast iron pans sitting in barns and cellars right now, and I will show you how to tell the ordinary ones from the ones that carry real money. Before we get rolling, drop a comment telling me where you are watching from. Iowa, Alabama, England, does not matter. I read every one. And stay with me to number 6, because that is the pan that cost me more money than anything else on this list, and I lost it by walking away. Let me be straight with you before we count. Most old cast iron is a $30 to $80 pan. Out of 100 skillets I handle at a farm sale, 80 are worth less than a tank of gas. 10 will land between $100 and $200. A small handful climb past 1,000. And those are the 10 I am telling you about today. Rare is rare. But rare is also sitting in a root cellar somewhere with a mouse nest in it. Here is why the old pans are different, and nobody bothers to explain this part. Run your thumb inside a brand new skillet. It feels like fine sandpaper. That is how iron comes out of a sand mold. The old foundries ground and machined that cooking surface slick as a window pane, because no woman in 1910 would buy a rough pan. That step costs labor, and one by one the American foundries quit doing it to save a nickel. So a smooth, glassy surface is your first clue. Second clue is weight. Set a modern 12-inch pan next to a 1920s 12-inch pan, and the old one feels almost hollow. Third, before about 1910, they poured the iron through a channel called a gate, then broke the tab off the bottom and filed the scar smooth. That scar is a gate mark, and we will come back to it. 2 quick dating rules. If a pan says made in USA, it was almost certainly made after 1960, because that is when the country of manufacture law came in, and a raised ring circling the outside of the bottom is a heat ring, which generally means before about 1940. Those rings locked the pan into the holes on a wood stove top so it would not slide, and when stoves went modern, the foundries quit spending the iron. One more thing. The size number cast into a pan has nothing to do with inches. It matched the stove hole it sat in, and every company numbered different. A number 8 is not 8 inches. Let us start at number 10. Number 10, the unmarked, smooth bottom skillet. No name, no logo, nothing but maybe a number and a letter, and everybody walks past it because they are hunting a name. But Wagner and Griswold both ran unmarked lines on purpose, selling the branded pans to department stores and the same iron with the logo left off to the 5 and dime shops. 2 prices for one product. The feature that gives an unbranded Wagner away is the lettering. Wagner never abbreviated anything. It will spell out 8-inch skillet and flat typewriter block print with no maker name near it. That is a Wagner in plain clothes. At a church rummage sale in Monmouth, Illinois, they had a cardboard box under the folding table, $5 for the whole thing. 4 crusty unmarked skillets. 3 were nothing. The 4th had that typewriter lettering and a mirror smooth interior, $65, and it took 20 minutes. Not a fortune, but it is repeatable. Your checklist: 1, feel inside for machine smoothness. 2, look for spelled out words, never abbreviations. 3, make sure the bottom is not a rough, pebbly casting. Names to watch even with no name on them: unbranded Wagner and the Griswold Iron Mountain line. Number 9 is the one almost everybody has in the house already. Number 9, Early Lodge, from before the rough modern finish. Lodge is the last old American foundry still running down in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. And because they are still in business, folks assume every Lodge is a common store shelf pan. Most are. But Lodge did not stamp their name on their pans until the late 1970s, so the older ones are unmarked. The feature that dates them is the notches. On the older ones, the heat ring is broken by 3 little gaps at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. Collectors call them 3-notch Lodges, and they run from the 1940s into the 70s. Second, Lodge did not add the little helper handle until the mid-70s. At a farm auction outside Hastings, Nebraska, they ran a hay wagon of kitchen iron across the block as one lot. $11 for the load, 2 3-notch Lodges in it, a number 8 and a number 10, $50 and $90. 11 into 140 is a day I will take every time. Your checklist. 1, count the notches in the heat ring. 2, no helper handle means before the mid-70s. 3, a size number and an abbreviation like SK with no name. Number 8 gets thrown out constantly because the handle looks wrong. Number 8, Birmingham Stove and Range, out of Birmingham, Alabama, not Birmingham, England. Their Century Series pans get mistaken for junk as often as anything I handle. They are unmarked, plain, and they kept casting a heat ring into the 1960s long after everybody else quit, which fools people into aging them wrong. The feature that names them is the handle. On a Birmingham, there is a sharp raised ridge at the bottom of the handle that does not stop there. It runs on into the side of the pan. Nobody else did that. Second, the heat ring is solid all the way around with no notches, which separates it from the Lodge. Third, they usually cast 2 letters on the bottom, the size and the mold code. On an estate clean-out in Sedalia, Missouri, a big skillet was nailed under a downspout catching rainwater, full of leaves and mosquitoes. That handle ridge caught my eye from the porch. Number 12, flat bottom, $90. Most run 30 to 80. A big number 12 or 14 in clean shape reaches the low hundreds. Names to watch, Birmingham Stove and Range and their Red Mountain line. Number 7 is where the money starts stepping up. Number 7, Wagner Ware from Sidney, Ohio, with a heat ring. Wagner ran from 1891 to about 1959, and their logo went through a parade of versions, which is a gift because you can date one by reading the bottom. You want Wagner Ware and Sidney with an O beside it, and what separates the good ones is that raised heat ring. Heat ring means before about 1940. No heat ring means later, and later means cheaper. One warning, there is a Wagner logo out there that looks fancy and says 1891 on it. That is a centennial reissue made in 1991. A modern pan and a costume worth scrap. My neighbor out past Keokuk, Iowa, let me clean his grandfather's smokehouse in trade for hauling the rest off. Hanging on a nail in the smoke, black as coal, a number 10 Wagner Ware Sidney with the heat ring. $185. Understand the range though. A common number 8 Wagner Ware is a $50 to $100 pan. The big sizes and early heat ring versions push into the low hundreds and above. Your checklist. 1, heat ring present. 2, full words in block print. 3, no country of origin marking. Now number 6, and I am still sore about it. Number 6, favorite Piqua Ware out of Piqua, Ohio, and it is the friendliest logo in cast iron. The name is cast in an arc with a curved line under it, and the whole thing reads like a smiling face on the bottom of the pan. Favorite pans were cast thin and light, even by old standards, so if one feels too light for its size, turn it over. The company was gone by the late 1930s, so there is only so much of it left. A flea market at the county fairgrounds up in Baraboo, Wisconsin, back table a rust-scabbed skillet with a $15 sticker. I saw the Smile logo. I also saw a line in the rust I could not read for certain, got cautious, and walked. Man 3 tables down bought it inside the hour. There was no crack. It was dirt. Good ones sell in the $100 to $300 range, and the large sizes go higher. That is the most expensive $15 I never spent. and it is why I carry a rag and flashlight to every sale now. Your checklist: 1, the arc and the curved smile line. 2, unusual lightweight for the size. 3, tap it and listen for a clean ring. Quick pause. If you are getting something out of this, hit subscribe. I put out a new one every week, pulled from real barns and real auctions, and I would rather you catch the one that matches what is in your own cellar. Now, number 5, Wapak with the Indian head. Wapak Hollowware was a small foundry in Wapakoneta, Ohio, running from about 1903 into the mid-20s, and on some pans they cast a Native American profile into the bottom. That mark is the whole ball game. The same pan without it is an $80 skillet. With it, 400 or 500, and the large sizes have gone past 1,000. Now hear me. That Indian head has been reproduced. A real one is crisp and finely detailed with a smooth machined cooking surface. A fake is soft and mushy, and the pan is usually heavy and rough inside. At an estate auction in Pontiac, Illinois, the preview had a card table of kitchen iron at shoebox prices. Another picker I have known 30 years was 3 people ahead of me and pulled the Wapak off that table for $12, waved it at me on the way past, grinning like a mule. He got 360. Fair and square, he was faster. Your checklist: 1, crisp detail in the profile. 2, smooth machined interior. 3, size number and a light casting. Number 4 is the one people finally recognize. Number 4, Griswold with the small block logo. Griswold ran out of Erie, Pennsylvania from the late 1800s until 1959, and the shape of their logo tells you roughly when the pan was made. The small block logo is the later everyday one, and it is what most surviving Griswolds wear. A number 8 in that logo is a $40 to $100 pan, and that is what makes it useful. It is common enough that you will actually find one, the other Griswold tell, the one that works when the bottom is unreadable, is the handle. Griswold cast a raised ridge up the back of it, and once you have felt that, you will never mistake it. I found mine in a barn loft outside Marshalltown, Iowa, in a crate of canning jars. Number 8, small block, bottom flat as a table. That one I never sold. It is on my stove right now, and my wife has cooked cornbread in it 19 years running. Not everything has to be a flip. Your checklist: 1, the ridge up the back of the handle. 2, read the logo style. 3, set it flat and push the handle. Number 3 is that same company wearing an older coat. Number 3, Griswold with the large block logo and the word Erie. This is the earlier generation, bigger letters, and it is the difference between a $50 pan and a $300 pan on the same piece of iron. The lettering is the entire value. Odd sizes push it further because most folks bought a number 8 or a 10, so the numbers nobody wanted then are the ones nobody has now. In a chicken house near Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, buried in 40 years of litter, I found a large block Erie number 10 with rust 1/8 of an inch thick. $290, rust and all, and I never scrubbed it. Understand the honest range. Common sizes in this logo run in the low hundreds. The 4-figure Griswolds you hear about are the rare sizes and odd shapes, not your average skillet. Your checklist: 1, large block lettering with Erie. 2, check the size number for anything other than 8 or 10. 3, spin test the bottom. Number 2 is older than everything we have talked about. Number 2, gate marked pans from the 1800s. Flip the pan and look for a raised seam or filed ridge across the bottom, sometimes clean across, sometimes just a stub. That is the scar where the foundry broke off the pour tab, and it means the pan was made roughly between 1800 and 1910. Most carry no maker name at all, because a lot came out of small local foundries that never marked anything, and that is why they get scrapped. A gate-marked pan can be under $100 for a common skillet, or several hundred for a good large one or an unusual shape. Down at an estate on the river in Hannibal, Missouri, A gate-marked kettle sat on the back step full of dirt and petunias. $12 because the lady wanted the petunias out anyway. $420, your checklist. 1, the seam on the bottom. 2, tap the rim and listen for a clean ring, not a thud. 3, look for 3 little legs because the oldest one stood in the fireplace coals. Now number 1. Number 1. The genuine early Erie spider skillet. Before Griswold was Griswold, the Erie foundry cast a small run of skillets with a spider and web in relief on the bottom. Almost nobody bought them. Almost none survived. Collectors count the known examples on their fingers, and good ones have brought $8,000 to $10,000 at auction. That is not a typical cast iron number. That is the top of the whole mountain, and you can pick barns a lifetime and never touch one. I have held exactly one at a preview table before an estate auction outside Beatrice, Nebraska in the early 2000s. Thin as a dinner plate, that web crisp as the day it was poured. The bidding left the room in under a minute and went to a fellow on a telephone. I have checked the bottom of every skillet I have picked up since. Your checklist. 1, a raised spider and web, crisp and finely detailed. 2, a gate mark, because a genuine one is 19th century iron. 3, very thin, very light casting. If you think you have one, do not scrub it and do not sell it at a yard sale. Take it to somebody who knows. Now some honesty about condition. A crack kills the value stone dead, not reduces it, kills it. Even a hairline turns a $500 pan into scrap, so hold it by the handle and tap the rim. A good pan rings like a bell, a cracked one thuds. Next, warp. Set it upside down on a flat table and push the handle. If it spins like a top, the bottom is bowed and no collector wants it. Deep pitting hurts too. Rust hurts less than people think, but a solid rusted mess still costs you money. Dirt and baked on grease cost you nothing, so do not panic. And here is the big one. Do not grind or sand a pan smooth. I have watched a man take an angle grinder to a $200 skillet and turn it into a $40 skillet in 90 seconds because grinding erases the casting detail and every collector sees it from across the room. And do not soak a rare pan in oven cleaner lye before you have identified it. Get the mark read first, identify, then clean. And never the other way around. Here is what gets me. Nobody ever teaches anybody these marks. There is no class, no pamphlet in the mailbox, nothing. So a family cleans out their mother's house, the whole kitchen goes to the scrapyard, and the fellow at the scale knows exactly what he is buying at 11 cents a pound. The flippers know, the scrap men know, they count on you not knowing. That is not a conspiracy, it is an information gap, and this video closes it. 10 pans down, and it comes back to the same thing every time. Value hides in plain sight, not behind glass in a museum. In the pan holding the shed door, the pan under the downspout, the pan with the petunias in it. So tonight, check the cellar, check the smokehouse. Check that shelf in the garage nobody has touched since your grandfather passed. Turn every pan over, look for the smooth bottom, the notches, the heat ring, the gate mark, and read the logo before you read the rust. Then come tell me in the comments what you found. I answer every single one, and your find might be the one I open with next week. Next week we go after vintage fishing reels because there are old reels in tackle boxes right now bringing more money than the boat did. I will see you then.